YouTube? It is Charles here, and from the moment I heard about this book, I knew it was one I got to add to my collection. I'm talking about DCKO Boss Battle #1. This it combines DC Comics characters with Dynamite Comics characters, Archie Comics characters, and Warner Brother property as well. It is part of the DCKO event. Um, Pretty much, we start off with the final four heroes facing off against alternate versions of themselves. And these alternate versions that they're about to face off with are from the Absolute Universe. So they're tying in the Absolute Universe books along with the main run DC characters, which I think is very cool. Here you see Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, I think that's Booster Gold, and Absolute Batman right here. And they're facing off against Lex Luthor, Superman, Wonder Woman, and who's the other one? The Joker. And so in this whole tournament, those seem to be the final four. I have not been following the KO book for books. I'm not sure of where we are, but they do a great job of giving you a little background in the introduction. And then they give you a little previously paragraph here. Previously in DCKO, Darkseid's victory is near certainty. In a desperate gambit, the strongest heroes and villains across the universe have entered a brutal tournament fighting to gain enough Omega energy to defeat Darkseid and save the universe. Now, confronted with a new Trinity born of Darkseid's influence, only 4 of Earth's champions are left to face them: Superman, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, and the Joker. But our universe's contenders aren't strong enough to defeat the dark reflections of Earth's greatest heroes. And so, in a last-ditch effort, World Forger seeks champions from beyond. And so that is how they tie in these characters from outside of DC into this story. Essentially, by battling these other characters, they're going to build up enough Omega energy to power Superman, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, and Joker to defeat the absolute versions of themselves. We bring back characters that I guess had previously been eliminated from the tournament, like Black Lightning is involved. Who else do we got? We got Batwoman. I just read it. I really enjoyed it. I read it twice so far, and I'm going to read it again. Just fun stuff. And the characters we meet from outside of DC lore, we have characters from Mortal Kombat. So we have Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Annabelle, the doll from the horror series. She actually faces off with Joker, which is, to me, the funniest battle out of all of these. If you want to call it a battle, but the dynamic of the Joker and Annabelle really cracks me up and put a smile on my face. We have a character I'm not familiar with, Samantha Strong, from Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, who seems to be a murderous bear. Let's see if we can cut to where this character is introduced and who are they facing off with. Yeah, she's facing off with Lex Luthor here. So I might have to check out that series, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Who else we have? We have Sabrina the Teenage Witch, courtesy of Archie Comics. Red Sonja, Homelander, and Vampirella from Dynamite Comics. Red Sonja, of course, known for her series with Dynamite Comics and going back to Conan in the 70s. And Vampirella, of course, another big staple character from Dynamite Comics. 2 of my favorite superheroes. They end up facing off respectively against Vampirella faces off against Batwoman, and Red Sonja faces off against another one of my favorite heroes, Wonder Woman. So I really dug that dynamic. And then probably the stars of this series, I think the most would be Superman versus Homelander. Whereas Homelander is kind of a distorted funhouse mirror version of Superman. Really good stuff between those two. I'm not going to go into blow for blow, page by page of this book, because with so many characters, the story beats are quick and simplistic, so we can get a complete story between all of these characters. So if I was to give away any of it, it would give away all of it for some of these characters. But while the story beats are quick and short, you don't feel like any character was shortchanged or any battle was shortchanged. I could have used more Batwoman and Vampirella, but outside of that, I felt like they let each of these characters shine, and it showed a nice juxtaposition between these characters. Like I said, the dynamic between the Joker and Annabelle and Superman, the good guy against Homelander, the guy who pretends to be the good guy, but deep down knows he's not. The furious warrior women, Red Sonja, and Wonder Woman, two women that are very similar in their mission, but go about it in very, very different ways. One of the best crossovers I read, and it continues in the Final Four and the Absolute Heroes continues in DCKO 4. So I have not been following the DCKO event book for book. I might get number 4 because it's going to have Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and who is the other Absolute Superman. So I may go ahead and get that. And you get a preview for another book that is in my reading pile that I just got. DC and AEW crossover with All Elite Wrestling. And so we get a preview of that in the back of this book. One of my favorite books, period, that I read. I'm not going to lie. Usually I read these books, and if I really enjoy them, I review them, and I pack them up in the bag and board, and I catalog them. This right here is going to go right back into my reading pile for a third reading and maybe a fourth reading. Probably my favorite book, the funnest book, I'll say. Maybe not my favorite, but the funnest book I've read since Captain Marvel, number 27 from a few years ago. That is a book that really stood out to me as kind of a fun one-shot that was a bridge in between two big story arcs. And this book right here, I personally enjoyed it just as much, if not a little bit more. So check it out. DCKO Boss Battle, number 1. You will not be disappointed. They have many great covers here. This is the cover I got with Vampirella, Red Sonja, Wonder Woman, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So that's the cover I got. The A cover actually has, it looks like pretty much most of the cast here. So that's the A cover, which is a great cover as well. Gives away a little bit more of the story beats. You guys can get a good look at that cover. A great cover, but if you look behind me, up above my Sasquatch sign, I got a framed Vampirella from Harris Comics, Vampirella Strikes, and above that I have a Red Sonja and Vampirella versus Betty and Veronica from Dynamite Comics that I have framed. So those ladies being two of my favorite characters, I had to get the cover that features them. So if you read it, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What was your favorite battle? What was your favorite pairing of these characters from different universes? Like I said, mine was the Joker and Annabelle. That was just a very, very fun dynamic. And to see the Joker kind of challenged in his own lane was very fun. And so I will see you guys later. Keep reading them books. Until next time, I'm out.